How did that just happen? We have got a bit of a story bubbling in the Champions Cup, haven't we? One of the games I was most excited about watching, and that was on my preview video, was the Stormers against La Rochelle. And if you haven't seen the result, well, if you haven't seen the result and you want to watch the game, what are you doing clicking on this video? But 3, 2, 1. Did not see that coming until it happened. Even at the very end, when it required that man, Marley Lebock, to knock over a very, very difficult kick. What a result for the Stormers. Does that mean La Rochelle are out? Are you enjoying the Champions Cup? What did you think of that result? I think my overwhelming thought is, all of a sudden, the Stormers had won it. It was a game that was slightly low on quality on both sides at times. A lot of errors. But I think the biggest story here is La Rochelle are the 2-time Champions Cup champions, going for a hat-trick, 3 in a row, which has only ever happened once in the competition's history. The Galacticos of Toulon, with Johnny Wilkinson and Bakis Bourta and all the other star names they had in that side. And La Rochelle were going for it, and they look an absolute shadow of the team that only, 7 months ago, lifted that trophy. Stormers, who have been the best performing team of the South African sides in the URC and the Champions Cup, they don't quite look themselves either. So it was 2 teams that have got improvements that they need to make going head to head in Cape Town. And well, the first thing, actually, I want to know, I'm Tim, this is Egg Chasers, by the way. Thanks very much for watching, and I'd love to have your subscription on the channel if you haven't already. An amazing setting. So since the internationals for the rest of the year for South Africa have been announced, I was talking about coming out for the Ireland versus South Africa test matches in July. I really wanted to come to Cape Town. And the games are in Pretoria and Durban, is it? The Ireland games. So I think I'm just weighing up what I do at the minute, but I may well come back because I want to see South Africa v New Zealand, one of the games that will be in Cape Town. I'm just having a look at the crowd. It seems relatively small, but it's a big stadium. So I'd love to get a sense of what is the interest and excitement level for the Champions Cup, because it has dipped off. It certainly feels like there's slightly less excitement for it in England than normal. However, there's no doubt it is definitely the highest level of rugby that you can play outside of international rugby. It's an historic competition. I'm interested whether it's capturing the imagination of the South African public and whether we might see bigger crowds than this for the games ahead. Certainly it will help if there's big wins against big teams, as we had with the Stormers. Yeah, are La Rochelle out? They've got 2 games to try and muster something. I guess that is one thing about the format of the competition. In the old format of the competition, La Rochelle are gone at this point. They can still get through, even with 1 win. They might get through, but they will be absolutely gutted about that one. At times, it seemed like both sides were kind of trying to lose. But the resolve and the fight of the Stormers at the end to actually come through is something, at least, because there's this kind of, it's a weird one. You come away with the win, but there'll be a lot that the Stormers will want to work on. For one thing, just go and do some basic handling, yeah? A lot of knock-ons, wasn't there? And discipline was really poor. In that first half, they made it far too easy for La Rochelle. And La Rochelle really should have gone into at half-time more than 13-6 up. A lot of penalties. And I've been hearing nothing but good things about Evan Roos for the last few years. What a beast he is, physical specimen. But he's a penalty machine and a bit of a knock-on machine, or he was today. Is that normal? He almost like he had, in contrast to Quagga Smith, he sort of had negative battle stats on this game today. And then there was Janchis, who butchered a really good chance. There was Gallant and Willemse bumping into each other. It's just kind of error-strewn. I guess the good thing is you can sort those sort of things out. That might just be a bit of a World Cup hangover, things gelling again, personnel having been away for a long time and now coming back together. Maybe that's what's going on. As for La Rochelle, it could be the same. I mean, another 1-point loss to a South African team. Death taxes and French sides losing to South African sides by 1 point. There was a couple of key moments So, I mean, firstly, the terrible defence, but a really good try by La Rochelle for their first try with the hooker bugger it, making a break down the right-hand touchline and just shrugging off the defenders a bit too easily, really, but really, really good finish. And bearing in mind, he's the third choice French hooker. They've got some talent in that position, haven't they? So that put them in a strong position. And then their second try, which was set up by the former Stormer Dylan Lades, and it took ages for the TMO and the referee to decide it was a try. They were looking at a knock-on first. They were checking the grounding. It looked like the one thing they didn't check was the final pass a forward pass, because that looked a little dodgy. So I guess had Stormers lost it, they might have been feeling a bit aggrieved about that particular decision. But then I just guess you got to roll with it, and decisions go your way and then don't go your way. I didn't think Christopher Ridley had the best of games as the referee, but one thing I will say, there's no excuse for the level of chops in that the players were in his ear with the whole game. It's getting to be a little bit of an issue in rugby, and I kind of want to see the referees just not accept it, give penalties or whatever, because it's a bit too much of it in rugby in general. And you see it. Excuse me, I referee like every now and again for my son's team when they've got a match, and it's starting to get the same. Funnily enough, with the parents more than the players, but anyway. And then Stormers kind of were hanging on in there, and there was that yellow card right near the end. What do you make of that decision? I thought yellow card was probably fair. I think a lot of people are calling a red. I suppose the main thing is it doesn't really matter. There was 77 minutes on the clock, so yellow, red makes no difference in terms of the actual game right then. It did give Stormers the man advantage, and they took advantage of it with the try, and then a very, very difficult kick from out wide for Marnie Libok, a man whose goal kicking, well, you can argue his goal kicking is the reason why he wasn't playing in a World Cup final or semi-final, or starting anyway. And he just cool as a cucumber. Well, I say that. Actually, once he scored, he looked as surprised as anyone. But he absolutely nailed it at the end for a 1-point victory, which, I mean, whoever lost this game was staring down the barrel. A win is massive in terms of progression in this competition. Fair play, La Rochelle had a difficult trip to Cape Town and to get oriented there, but they've got a big ask in the new year with those the next couple of games they've got to play. So we will watch that one. What else would I say about this? I thought it was Pretoria that had the most eclectic DJ. The DJ in Pretoria loves to go for a bit of 90s hip hop. The DJ in Cape Town, Sweet Caroline. Who the F is Alice? It's like wedding disco songs. And also, I noticed they were playing the Cranberries and Zombie. I'd love to know what the Irish fans think about that. But really enjoyed that game. And I'm only going to do a short video here because I want to hop and make sure I go and catch the rest of the Champions Cup rugby. But I thought this game was worthy of a quick mention. So leave your comments down below. Give the video a thumbs up. That really helps spread the word. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. See you on the next one. Should be a fun weekend.